Very dry the last couple of days. Looked like it was going to be a very heavy ground, but it's cleared up nicely and just a little bit of dew on top, so shouldn't present any problems.
So the Magpies and the Swans are in motion, and it'll be first possession to Sydney. Steve McBurney officiating, and he says it's Kieran Jack to take it. Kieran Jack, who says Collingwood have no psychological hold over the Swans despite 8 wins in a row. Confident young man, confident kick, but Harry O'Brien chops it off for the Magpies.
And a good start for the Collingwood defence, because Lloyd, we were just talking off air about the important role Nick Maxwell plays in chopping off opposition kicks, and O'Brien's got a piece of it early. Here's Cloak slamming it inside 50. Could be a fairly futile kick, just given the numbers back there. Davis doesn't believe so. Bit of a solo effort. Shut down by Roberts-Thompson, and the first scores on the board.
Good start there from Leon Davis, just his work rate, pushing. 1 minute he's in the centre of the ground, next he's up in the forward 50. That's what they'd want to see from him.
Here's the former Magpie, Reece Shaw. McVeigh back to him now, Jude Bolton, strong tackle, Swan, and Collingwood win it back. Cloak, Wellingham, Heathshaw, just bumping it forward and getting a result. Brown giving it off, Wellingham again, one-on-one, Davis, Bevan with him, Bevan can corral him there, Davis inventive, and Thomas has got it.
Great kick by Leon Davis, great kick, set his teammate up. Collingwood very good at getting passes inside their forward 50, and Collingwood very good at starting games well. They have won 9 of the first quarters that they've played this year, lost the 3.
Swans have it all clogged up in the 50. Only 2 of them are actually outside Collingwood's 50-metre zone. Look at them all. So Thomas is going to go over the top. From on the paint, he made a mess of it. That's another behind.
Lloydie, is it a dead track here at ANZ Stadium? Because I look at it and it always looks as if the players struggle a bit with their footing.
There's no doubt, Wolsey, you need the screw-ins on. It's very patchy with the rugby league being played here. There's different types of turf everywhere.
Umpire calls play on there. Reece Shaw tries to get them out of trouble, and I guess he achieves that because no damage done. Funny old kick in.
Just on this match, Sydney need to close it up as much as possible. They want stoppage after stoppage, plenty of tackles, because it gets out in the wide open spaces. Collingwood will win this game of football.
Mumford. Here's Johnson making a bit of a go of it. And it's another behind. Not what Collingwood wants, some early behinds after their woes in front of goal last week, and it has been several times an issue for them, but none of those simple shots by any means.
9:22 in the draw against Melbourne. Swans are having a devil of a time trying to get it out of here. And the dam will break eventually if it stays in. Roberts-Thompson, Grundy, great pressure from Collingwood. Lee Brown arrived a little late. Shaw giving it off to Matner, and running for him, Malcheski. Lovely evasive work by Steve McBurney, the umpire. Opens it up for Malcheski. On the reversal, the Swans a chance. Jetta, the late inclusion. That's a very good hand pass. Just wouldn't sit for McVeigh. And Wellingham takes him off the footy. Thomas there to receive gratefully.
And kick back to the middle where ball marks under a bit of stress from Mumford. They move it away with Swan and Johnson. Again, it's a fairly open area in the forward line as we've become accustomed to. So many numbers through both sides of midfield. Collingwood with 3 forwards inside the 50 as we speak. I don't think the Swan side is as... Are you saying they slow out in the spaces, Lloydie? I reckon this Swan side is as slow as maybe they have been in the past.
Yeah, well, that's where they've beaten them in the past. They win at the stoppage, kick it into space, and Collingwood are far sharper at running onto it and linking up with handball.
O'Keefe. Here's White coming up to meet it. And O'Keefe will get a second crack. And that's well controlled. McLean, who does have a bit of zip. And here he goes. On the left. Might be a bit of a look through the air. Gary Rowan, who got a reprieve. Goldsack in for his first game of the year. Shake of the head from Rowan, and it's over and out.
And just the contrasting styles. 11 kicks, 7 handballs Collingwood. Sydney 6 kicks, 15 handballs. So Sydney love to work the ball through handball. Collingwood very much a kicking side.
Mumford and Jolly. Mumford roving as well. Jolly making sure he's going nowhere. Talk All-Australian selection for Shane Mumford, so good as his debut season with the Swans been.
He's been in great touch, Mumford, and this battle is going to be great to watch tonight.
And a contest at ground level ends in a standoff. Stuart Wen to step in and break it up. Luke Ball, who missed the drawn game against Melbourne, picking himself up.
Presti picking up Adam Goods, and Goods, with 24 goals to his credit this year, leads the Swans goal kicking. Daniel Bradshaw with 25, not playing.
So, bit of a cuddle from Munford and Jolly. Bolton into the space. Beautifully worked. Calmly worked from O'Keefe to Kirk, who would have thought he could have probably done a fraction better, and a fraction better was all he needed for a goal. Instead, it's a behind. Swans' first score of the night.
O'Keefe might have had the shot himself, probably more of a goal kicker. Gave it off. Kirk not quite able to bring it back. Heath Shaw, long for Tuvey. Solid grab. Canterbury try to make the spoil. Tuvey takes him on and did it well. Jolly giving it up to his old teammate, Craig Bird. Now Kirk again. Just dabbing it to Smith. And the Swans advance through Matner. So still no goal. Both defences standing up to some early pressure.
And Nick Smith, the #1 stopper now at Sydney. He's got the John and Allen Didak, and he plays a really tight role, Nick Smith.
Didak waiting in front. Jolly trying to service him. Here's Pendlebury. Hanbury. Side bottom. Nice lock-up tackle. And Pendlebury climbing in as well. There's John Longmire and Nathan Buckley, Tim, both getting ready for the main job.
Heirs apparent.
Longmire, of course, will start next year, and Mick's tenure ends the year after. Pendlebury charging away and doing it with some style. Dale Thomas gets into his stride now. Interesting one. He needed Malchesty not to take the mark. Thought he did enough to control it. As it turned out, it's not going to be costly. Matner brings it away. And the next kick along the line from O'Keefe. Not able to be handled. Side bottom's been prominent so far. He gets dumped over the line. We'll have a throw in.
His boot, gee, it was close to out on the full. Maybe it touched a little bit of chalk. In the background, you could see Collingwood ringing the changes as they do. Kirk to Smith, giving it up. Swan just hoisting it into half court. Bevan back bravely. Collingwood free kick.
Arms were around him. He couldn't get his arms up to contest.
Umpire Finlay awarding it Cloak's way.
He's a big man, Travis Cloak. It's not until you stand beside him you realise how big he is. And Grundy probably just a bit short, giving away a few kilos. He's conceded 25 goals this year, which is a fair few, Grundy, but he's had all the big jobs and all the stars of the competition.
And big Mike Pike has run down to the goal square, hoping to get a hand on it.
Collingwood don't have a 2-goal per game player. Cloak averaging about 1.5, and he doesn't put himself on the board early. It's another miss. Here's the hold.
Wasn't a lot in it, but just probably the contact was a bit too early there from Grundy.
So Malcheski is having a fine season. Has the honours. Next ball, Mike Pike on the ground now. Jack helps himself. Here's Goods versus Prestigiacomo. This is really going to test Presti. Adam Goods, as we said, anything different season. Some good, some not so good. Centering ball, hoping for the best. Pendlebury shuts it down. Now O'Brien curves the kick for Thomas. He'll look ahead and see if he does pick it up. But these forwards are outnumbered by the Swans, so he's forced us to hold things up, but it doesn't go his way. Shaw was able to wait and draw. Now here's some pace. Pace to Bird from Jetta. Into the ground once, will think about a second. Where to next? Has to go on his own. And in the end, under a fair bit of pressure, he sprayed it, and it's out on the full. It was in the end, a bit of a pointless run, but he's telling them and showing them what he can do.
And there's the tag on Dane Swan, and it's young Kieran Jack. Gets big responsibilities nowadays.
Well, I think Jetta did what Paul Roos was suggesting pre-match. He wants his players to do. Take risks in putting the ball into the 50 in an aggressive way. But Collingwood bring it out boldly. Heath Shaw goes for Dawes. Well covered by Roberts Thompson. So it's attack and counter-attack in the early part. And there hasn't been a breakthrough at either end.
It is, Tim. Both halfbacks are running really well. Great runners, but It's which team can find that man who can kick 3 or 4 tonight.
Jolly, beautifully done. Same game last year wearing red and white. He had 53 tap-outs. Phenomenal number. His average, nothing like that this year, but playing solidly for Collingwood. He's averaging 20. He tended to be about a 30 man in his Sydney days. McVeigh to Bevan, a fumble, could be costly. McVeigh goes back, lost it. Wellingham, Pike laying the big strong tackle. Well done by the Canadian. But Lee Brown gets it into the 50 for the Magpies. Malcheski needed to try and stay on his feet. Has support. Smith, Malcheski, Jack. Sydney's back half holds up again. But Harry O'Brien in mercurial, magnificent manner kicks the first goal.
Absolutely sensational there from Harry O'Brien. That just shows the form he's in. He's conceded a few goals this year also, but he's playing on all the nippy smalls, the Stephen Milne types, but can also take the talls. And that was great reading of the play from Harry O'Brien, something he's really developed in his game the last couple of years.
Just amazing. Just read the play so well, so quick to react. Well, there's the Kieran Jack speared pass, but Harry read it to perfection, hit that ball at 100 mile per hour, followed up and kicked it through. That is an absolute team lifter for the Magpies.
And it gives them a 9-point advantage in what looks like it'll be a pretty dour sort of struggle. Jack trying to surge forward out of the middle. Beams started on the bench, has his first impact. It's a high one. Try standing under that. 3 or 4 of them do. Cloak was in there. Dawes, great gift to side bottom. Adjusted the kick for Dick. Kick 4 last time. Oh, it was a present for Davis. He spilt it. You can see that the going is a little bit tough, and now Davis has fallen in the back of Kirk. And that was a calamity for the Pies. It probably wasn't necessary. Dick probably should have just put it through himself. Easy to say from here. Huge lunge from Bolton. I don't think he controlled it. It's out of bounds.
Unbelievable here. He'd spent it before he got it. He had eyes on the goals, not the footy, and you can see mixed reaction. You can't believe it.
What a great reaction. Is it a confidence crisis with Leon Davis?
Oh, there's no doubt. You wait till he has a shot for goal. We saw it Justin Kosicki last night. You can tell he'd spent it, as Wolsey said, because he's so out of touch with his form.
Tuvey miscuing that kick, put it much wider than intended. Pendlebury, though, good man to have riding shotgun for Cloak, who gets a good ricochet here. Tuvey coming the other way, Matner. And now a throw in, but Collingwood just getting the better of it. That was an inspiring piece of play by O'Brien for the first goal.
With Jolly off, Lee Brown will do the ruck work for the Magpies up against Mike Pike.
And there they go at it. Pike got the measure of it. Ball back in the side, doing what he does best, getting in, winning the hard stuff.
Well, he's #1 for the Magpies for tackles and clearances.
Johnson called for a wide, but he goes for Dawes instead. He takes the mark. What are your thoughts? Lloyd in particular, we've seen Dawes go in and out of the side, Anthony go in and out of the side, Medhurst go in and out of the side. They're trying to work out what their ideal forward structure, and it probably won't be the same against all teams, but do you like this combination of Dawes and Cloak the best? Or?
This is the one that I definitely stick with. I think he's a powerful man. The kicking is his weakness. That's probably the one aspect of his game, but he's a contested mark player, more so than John Anthony is.
1 bag of 3 and 3 bags of 2 this year. Has produced 9 goals, 6 in 6 games for Chris Dawes. Talk about confidence. A goal from here will be just the boost he needs. Not a lot wrong with that kick, Matthew.
Sensational kick. Ball drop at times has been his query, but it's fantastic. They deserved it, the Pies, and in the past 3 or 4 years they've dominated the first quarter and taken the confidence and the initiative away from the Swans, and that's happening again here. Swans have had some good patches of play, but the Pies look up and about early. Nothing like it as a key forward, kicking a goal early in the match just for your own confidence. And he's such a powerful man, Dawes. That was a beautiful lead out from the goal square.
Collingwood getting a result for holding the ascendancy early. 15-point lead. Wellingham, it was clever, and Didak almost got his hands onto it. Cloak's been very good. Tuvey, the fumble just forced him to hold it up and go to Wellingham. Poor kick. Didn't have a forward in position.
Right there.
Malcheski chopping it off easily. Swans needing a goal to get themselves into this. Goods just using his body on Tuvey. Bolton. McVeigh. And hoisting it long. Good body work, but McGlynn not quite getting the result. Swans have the numbers. Jack prizing it out. Collingwood have the numbers back there. Heath Shaw easily.
And now Swan at half-back. Just has to wait for a while, maybe just idle across half-back till his teammates move into better position. Looking down the ground, he was thinking of handballing, decides to kick in the end. It was a precision effort, and Dawes presenting nicely along the flank he goes, but too wide for Wellingham.
Got him that time,
Yeah, well, both teams will take the ball forward along the boundary line. We won't see too much through the corridor.
A real concern for mine with the Swans going inside 50. They've kicked the Jude Bolton, Gary Rowan, Adam Goods or Jesse White has to be the one who's the final target inside 50.
Malcheski across to McVeigh. The margin is 15 at the moment. Malcheski has 6 disposals, been very busy in that last line, and here he is again. And it's a lockdown job. It's just man on man. There's probably one extra man from a zone point of view for Collingwood. That's about it. The kick goes out over Sidebottom's head, over Shaw's head, and it goes to the other Shaw. Malcheski's called on again to try and spoil, which he half does. Davis keeps it alive. Wellingham squares the ball. Not sure it was a shot or not. Turned out to be somewhere in between, and it's going to be another throw in the opposite pocket.
Inside 50s, Rob. Sorry, 11-5 for the Pies.
Yeah, look, they're up and about, Lloydie, no doubt about that. We're looking at Didac, just the one disposal, and you called it Nick Smith, his opponent, just giving him absolutely nothing.
Holding. Shane Mumford, grab him by the arm.
So a free kick to Mumford. The ball kicked away, but the umpire not responding to that.
He's a hard man to get around Shane Mumford. He got front position there, and that free kick was definitely there.
He wouldn't eat vegetables as a boy, Lloydie, but he made up
Oh
for it.
dear. Calamitous kick could let Collingwood in again. It could yet. Swan. A hand pass just not to the right spot. Malcheski. Clever. Jetta. Brilliant young player. Jack. And Sydney fans breathe a sigh of relief. Rowan with Goldsack over the top. Rowan did okay. The line would have been better. And Collingwood come up with it. Here's Harry. Oh, he is in fiery form. Away goes again, having kicked the first of the night. But well played, Jenner. Good defensive skill there as he arrived late.
Maybe he should have eaten his vegetables when he was young, Shane Mumford, Lloydie, because he didn't quite get this one where he wanted to.
More carrots to help his vision, because that wasn't a great kick there from Mumford.
A bit more spinach to get power in the leg.
You blokes are funny.
No, I think that's probably not quite accurate, Woolsey. The ball is knocked down, and here's Didac trying to get a nice clean possession, and he comes away and doesn't kick it anywhere near where he would like. And Matt Mazzetta make the intercept, which he did pretty easily. Comes away, uses his natural left foot to take the ball curving around the wing to the impressive Hanbury. He's calling for a forward to come up, and Adam Goulds obliges and then heads the ball over the boundary line. Not in the back of the net there.
Gee, Rhys Shaw's in the central corridor. He's run down into the forward line saying, kick it to me in the corridor, don't go wide.
It was a bedazzling kick from Hanbury. So much so that it went right through Good's fingers, and as Hutto said, was a header. Sydney pressing, looking for their first goal. Collingwood's defence has been good. Here's Goods. Kirk, who had a ping at him a while ago. 2-on-2 in front of the sticks. Just about to Rowan. He's not paid the mark. Oh, he was so close. Kirk will have another go. Terrific smother by Goldsack. And Collingwood keep it alive yet. They are not giving Sydney a millimetre. Now, White finds a millimetre, but he misses by a metre. Gary Rowan, was that a mark in front of goal? He had a good slice of it.
Good decision by the umpire. Didn't do enough there, Gary Rowan.
Seen you appeal for less than that, Lloydie. Here's O'Brien.
Never got him, though.
Coming away from half back again. What a start for Harry. He's kicked a goal. He's coming in for his 6th disposal. He's able to run all the way from the back pocket to the wing. Roberts, Thompson and Shaw this time draws the high contact under there.
So there's their big challenge now, the Swans. They're getting it well across half back, running it out beautifully, but it's that final kick going forward.
And now Matner, who can mount a fair charge of his own. O'Keefe play on the call. Swan was fooled by O'Keefe, who paid himself the mark. Over to Kirk, whose disposal count has dropped this year from about 22 down to 16. And of course, he is retiring at the end of the year. Getting plenty of footy at the moment. He's had 6 disposals. That's a nice kick into the fifth, even though it was pulled up just out of perhaps McGlynn's goal range. He goes short, and it's O'Keefe, who we know can go the journey from here with his best strike.
Really changed his game, O'Keefe, the last couple of seasons, from a class half forward to one of the very best midfielders in the competition. So really worked on his fitness. His next game will be his 200th for Sydney.
And he's kicked 198 goals in all of that, Rob. So he's on target for about a goal a game, and that won't do any damage to the average at all. The Swans finally get one.
Really well worked there from the Sydney Swans. That's where they've been breaking down. But when you get the ball in your best users in Reece Shaw, it makes a real difference. And Ben McGlynn, he's been a real loss considering his form at the start of the year. Not only winning plenty of the football, but kicking goals. And Ryan O'Keefe, he's one of the most important players to the Sydney Swans.
And you can see with the clearance there, Collingwood on top. And Jolly, he would be enjoying the challenge of playing against the old team. He had 5 wonderful seasons for the Sydney Swans, including a premiership.
And in the end, it's one of the old reliables who breaks the drought for Sydney. Ryan O'Keefe, the first goal. Now Kennedy. I think that might have been his first disposal. Hanbury just missing the mark. Hasn't quite been on yet. Beams to Johnson, to Shaw, and now to Beams, who ran to space after getting his first disposal. Now Pendlebury, and Kirk can't go with him. Pendlebury placing it for Cloak and Davis. I just get the feeling that eventually it's going to click for Leon Davis. He'll do something brilliant one of these weeks, and then it will all start to flow. But he's had a troubled season so far, as though a bad final series has eaten into his confidence a bit. Here's Didak, been well tied up so far by Smith. Bolton swinging it clear. Goods, Presti. Shaw having a picnic down the back, and this time he's forward to the centre. Swings it long in the Jolly direction. Mumford with him. Reece Shaw covers. Didak. Well done, Shaw. O'Keefe, Roberts, Thompson.
Who kicks are important 2-on-2 out here. Brown and McGlynn with a spectacular, but Thomas more reliable than ever before, and you can see his team orientation going short to Lockyer. There would have been a time perhaps when Dale Thomas might have gone for a bit of a blind turn and ran on the left and tried to snap for goal there, but he certainly did the team orientated thing that time.
Well, Tarkin Lockyer's got the set shot for goal. It's his first touch of the night. One of the most accurate kicks in the Collingwood side. He's not even going to go for it. He repays the favour. Opens up the angle.
So Dick going down to the rooms. More on that shortly. Here's the shot for goal in the end. Dale Thomas is, after the little pass from Lockyer, gets it back.
And I'd say you're spot on there, Wolsey, with Tarkin Lockyer. He's one of the better kicks, and Daisy Thomas isn't bad on the run, but he also does struggle from a set shot perspective.
Averaging 24 disposals this year. Career highs in kicks, handballs and tackles this year. 8 goals, 6 coming into the game to restore that lead of Collingwood, which would have been 14 points, but it hangs out to the right. So it's 9 the difference. 2-5, 17 to 1-2-8.
He's got a little braided plait in his hair, has he? Is this new? Should investigate this, Lloydie.
Definitely wouldn't surprise me. I think he's still a bit of a showman there, little Daisy, but he has upped his work rate, no doubt about that. But you're right, on the right, on the left-hand side of his face.
So Collingwood pressing.
Or it'd suit you, Hutto.
There are more important matters at hand. Didak, side bottom, who is a goal kicker. That's a good kick right to the heart of the square, and Cloak with strength comes up with it.
Well, you've got to give credit to Sidebottom's kick, don't you? He's pressed against the boundary line on his non-preferred side. He was able to hook it to the top of the goal square and give his forwards a chance.
That makes a defender really nervous, that kick, and that was enormous body work there from Travis Cloke.
Well, he shouldn't miss this. And Collingwood are going pretty well. They lead by 15.
No doubt, Rob, that they deserve this lead. I think they've been far superior than a 2-goal lead. I think inside 50s, 15-7 for the Magpies, and just probably a few mistakes there from Davis and a missed shot from Daisy Thomas.
Daniel Bradshaw looking on. Was there a bit of guilt about this? I wonder. He used some body. Watch his face when he hears the whistle.
I'm not sure what he was concerned about, because that was the perfect use of the body, and I saw him monster Fremantle a month ago, and that was great body work, and he started the game really well.
There was a bit of a second action there, though, wasn't there? And maybe it's a bit like a batsman who got the nick through to the keeper. But anyway, there's Ball taking it away. Beams and Didak. Lockyer, they're on the build again. Really workmanlike Collingwood. Good sprightly lead too from Pendlebury, showing his versatility with Kirk as company. He's moved to half forward, set sail to the pocket again. Swan couldn't get there, but he gets the footy and almost makes the most of it.
That's the worry for Paul Roos. If Swan stays in the forward line and Jack goes with him, Swan will be too good for him.
Brad Dick, we believe it's a shoulder. We saw him go to the rooms a moment ago, and that may well be it.
Well, he had 8 tackles last week, Brad Dick, and he hasn't got the widest arms in the world.
Strapping on the shoulder, so I think that's been a previous injury that he's been suffering.
Matner beat the pack and gives McGlynn a moment of opportunity, and that's a lovely hand pass to his old Hawthorn teammate Kennedy. Off to Jack. Goods needs to be good here. We know he is. Bolton there, workhorse. Jetta has a look at them, and like a few before it misses on the near side with Rowan beseeching him at the top of the goal square.
Jetta yet to kick a goal this year. He's kicked 13 behinds.
And that would be on your mind when you're having a shot, I would imagine, as Johnson comes away in impressive style for Collingwood. Services Lockyer. Just finding a bit of the footy.
I'll have to give Shane Watson a call. Ask him what it's like, how to get out of the 90s, Hunter.
Here's O'Brien. Hope he doesn't take as long as Shane Watson did in the 90s. Shaw back to Prestigiacomo, inch by inch. He couldn't handle the terrain. It is slippery at various parts of this ground, and the Swans group together. McGlynn has become a goal kicker for Sydney, and he shows just how to do it.
Mickey Malthouse absolutely seething, and that would be Heath Shaw here. Slips over. The coaches often ask you a quarter time what boots are you wearing, and you'd be hoping that you're wearing the right ones, Wolsey. Do you ever ask a player what boots he was wearing?
Many a time. Many a time.
Just tell them you've got the long stops on, don't you?
What's that?
Just tell them you've got the long stops on.
Well, I reckon Mick might be upset about Heath Shaw slipping. And I reckon he'll be checking what sort of stops he's wearing at quarter time.
Don't think he was happy.
Players today, Lloydie, they don't like to wear anything but the mouldeds.
I would have worn screw-ins once or twice a year, Wolsey.
That all?
That's all.
On this ground?
This is ground you have to wear them.
So just under half a minute to go. Swans doing well to be within 9 points. That's just about a hold. That's just about a throw. Didak, so's that. Sydney's ball. Have they got time? They have if they can move it fluently here. But O'Keefe's run into trouble. He's been pinged. And that'll just about take out any chance of a score.
Luke, your kick, come out, guys.
In fact, with just 4 seconds left, it looks as though that'll be The strength of it at quarter time. Entertaining contest. Collingwood by 9 points.
I think the Pies will be disappointed the amount of ball and the dominance that they did have. I thought they played the game on their terms, the way they like to play it, but Swans still in this match.
Much quality ball come his way.
Just a reminder too, at halftime we'll have a mid-season review with Andy Maher and Daniel Jean Syracusa. Second quarter though coming up as the Pies take a 9-point lead into the second term here, and McVeigh with a nice little move in the middle. Malcheski well up the ground, uses Smith, Goods and Prestigiacomo. Maybe the message has got through.
I'd like to see Goods play more upfield, then run back towards goal. Presti won't like that. If he stays close to goal, so Presti just has to go forward to spoil, it's easy for him.
Goldsack chopping it off. It was a fairly crowded forward line yet again for the Swans. Goldsack taking the mark. That's the only problem with that, Rob, is whether they've got someone. I know Jesse White's their deep target who can actually take a mark deep. Swan kicks the ball up onto the wing, and Shaw is able to snaffle it. And they're moving. They've got a man on inside. That's Dawes. Didak will find him. He kicked one from here at the other end. Can he repeat the dose?
Lloydie hasn't taken his wallet out.
That was a real difference, though, in the build-ups. The amount of times that when Sydney go forward, there's a Collingwood loose. They're sort of getting a loose player. And I reckon they're playing off Bird there in the forward line, Craig Bird. And whereas when Collingwood are moving forward, it's just finding that loose player inside 50.
Marks inside 50, 7 to the Pies, courtesy of this man and cloak, and just 2 to Sydney.
So here's Chris Dawes. Lovely kick where the equation was even tougher in the first quarter. And he comes in and does it again. And it's right over the goal umpire's head. And they lead by 15. Impressive stuff.
Well, they do start games well. What I like about this is the quick give off by Heath Shaw to Didak. Quick as a flash, doesn't think twice. There you go. And it just means it opens up opportunities in the forward line, particularly for a player with the kicking skills of Didak.
We've seen Dawes kick 2 goals, Travis Cloke kick 1. This was Goodsy's first quarter. I think this sums up his year. He's just running under the football far too often. This would have done a lot for his confidence at the start of the second quarter. He's got to try and take hold of this match.
Clear wind to Collingwood again. Pendlebury for Cloke. Grundy trying to hold him. Couldn't get the arms. Thomas placing it. Pendlebury covering a lot of ground to get to there. The hand pass from over the other side of the line, so it'll be thrown in. Good result for Collingwood. The Swans were going to make the takeaway. Oh, well, that's a free kick.
Don't argue.
So Grundy unlucky, but the umpires can't see everything. Probably should see that. McGlynn over it, buried, ball up.
I guess in some ways Goods is effectively playing a new position this year. I know he got injured last year and went forward almost out of the goal square. But he hasn't played a lot of his career as a centre-half forward, has he, as such?
No, he hasn't, Hutto, but I think that's where he'll finish his career as a key forward. Certainly, you know, Barry Hall not being there now, they need a bloke who can take a mark, and Goods is the one.
Kirk cocked it high. Clear free kick.
Kirk, pick up the footy, you've run in, made contact with the head. No, I'm just blowing time back on.
So, Kirk, the short stuff here. So McVeigh, it's fairly stagnant. There's a bit of confusion. Goods makes the lead, so he's really pushing right up to that wing between wing and half forward. He's back to Kirk.
Adam Goods has made about 5 leads while they've zigzagged it.
They've gone completely the opposite side. It's worked the right. They've got the run from behind from Matner, who must be tempted, and he does press go. Unfortunately, he couldn't get himself balanced to behind.
Ben Johnson got very lucky there. He didn't know who he was encountering. You always got to go to Martin Matner's left foot, and he's gone to the right side, which enabled him to cut back inside the corridor.
Ben Johnson should know that.
What's that? Ben Johnson should, yeah.
Well, he should know about one-sided players.
Yeah.
That's it, Joe, right there.
Shaw gives to Goldsack. Collingwood in control at the moment. Sydney just not really able to make any consistent impression, and Shaw is playing it on his terms down the back.
Gee, he runs hard.
His 12th use of the ball if he actually gets one. It's not his most glorious moment of the evening, but Ben Johnson was able to gain territory for the Magpies. Luke Ball working hard at the base. Swan and Johnson. Johnson it is who gets the kick in the Dawes direction, using his strength again. Pendlebury to Didak, and he's put it in a good spot, but it was well covered for Sydney by Mantner.
Well, we saw Hearshaw slip in the first quarter. He's gone over again in the second. What can you pick up with those stops, Lloydie?
They look like Moulds to me, Woolsey.
I'm glad Rob Barassi's not coaching him.
Mumford in front this time. Cleared the path for sure. Doing their score it over as we get down to Neil Cordy.
Yeah, I had a look at the boots that Hearshaw was wearing at quarter time, and they did look like stops. But the thing about that side of the ground is that it's very loose on the wings.
Well, it popped out dangerously there, but it's gone through for a behind. So margin is back to 14.
And Mick Malthouse, game number 800, which is just a wonderful achievement as a player and coach combined. Only two others have been involved in more games of senior football, Jock McHale and Kevin Sheedy.
Shaw hoping for goods. Pendlebury. Umpire gave him a bit of latitude there. Goods likewise took his time, but gets it to his man, McVeigh. Now it's 2-on-2. Which way will it fall? Goldsack and White come back. Well done. Well done. Over to Tuvey, and then off to Reed, and then bundle along to the wing to Swan. Let's see him sliding. Now he spotted Dale Thomas. Spotted that hair on the other side of the ground. It's a lofty kick, but he could get it into the middle, just carved it back nicely for Jolly. He can relish the space at centre half forward. Had a glance over his shoulder, and then a glance at the sticks, and Cloak almost took the mark.
Good effort there by Reece Shaw. Cloak wasn't his opponent, but he got back and was able to get a spoil on, prevented him taking a mark certain goal.
The Shaws, the playmakers down the back for either team. Pair of brothers, and they're the first two into double figures disposals for their sides. Here's Wellingham. Tuvey, methodical to Didak. Got rid of his opponent well and then dallied. Mown down by Jack.
Wellingham's form's been off in the last month, but I've really liked his start to this game. He's had the 7 disposals and 3 handball receives. Seems to be running far greater than he has been.
That's promising, isn't it, for Brad Dick?
Left shoulder heavily strapped, but he looks as though he's ready to resume the fray. So another ball up. Collingwood attack.
Really important.
Have a look at this kick from Dane Swan. Perfectly placed. He's been staying up late at night. Jolly. Mumford. Kennedy, who's been effective at the clearances this year for the Swans. Goods has really got some venom about him at the start of this second quarter. Prestigiacomo going with him, gets support. Tuvey with a little kick in front of Didak, up to Beams. Evaluates what's ahead. He tries for Lockyer. As you can see, it didn't come off. The going is difficult out there. Kennedy just thrusting it away. Nice play from Jack. Smart stuff into the middle. McGlynn using his pace and carry through the middle. Gets some help from Matt, and that doesn't work. High ball, deep. Reed tested here. Battle of wills. White looking for the free. Off the ground goes Heathshaw. Goldsack the backup. And now O'Brien. Away it goes to Thomas. And he can surge from the wing. He'll get support from Cloak. Low ball for Wellingham. He slides in and the mark is paid. Collingwood setting up again. Swan. He's one target. Lockyer another, and big lead Brown at the front of the pack. Good heavy work from Mike Pike, but watch out because Leon was there storming through. Dawes. This is Johnson. Hemmed in. Oh, Daisy Thomas! Almost, but not quite.
Memories of the past, Daisy.
And it's a behind.
They don't mind playing here, Collingwood, at ANZ Stadium. Had 7 games here and they've won 5 of them.
Free kick there. Made some contact. Perhaps the umpire, in the end, deciding it was a realistic attempt. He nearly marked it. Shaw draws Leon Davis. Gives to Bevan. Long, Grundy and Pike. Grundy's come down with it. The umpire said he didn't start off with it. Grundy kicks the Swans forward. White and Reed. Reed with a little bit more toe off the mark. And went to safe side and he's been punished. Jesse White didn't imagine that there was a free kick on as Dick comes back for Collingwood. Tough call by Steve McBurney. You can see he had the scent in his nostrils.
Outside scoring distance. Play on, play on.
McGlynn's ball. He gives to Goods.
Goods playing on Presty. What's it like to play on Presty, Matty?
Deceptively really quick off the mark. One thing you don't have to worry about is Presty running down the ground. So he's not concerned about getting a disposal on you, but you really have to make the most of your opportunities because he doesn't give you too many. That was a really smart lead by Adam Goods. He worked hard back towards goal and got Presty with his back to goal and worked his way back, and a really smart kick from McGlynn.
So Goods just 4 disposals so far. A chance to make a mark. It's way across the face, out on the full.
And it will be Lee Brown's ball. Now, Brad Dick's on the ground. Maybe no one from Sydney realised he was back. All on his own. Getting back to help out. We know he can run and carry. He might run out of puff fairly soon. He's had 3 bounces, and it's a very lonely forward line for Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Issues there with Dorr. Away to Davis, who heaved it out of the pack for ball. It goes over and out. Disposal winners, as we said, for each side. Heath Shaw 13. Reece Shaw 13.
Just on that, we see Heath Shaw in picture. That's a real concern for mine, that matchup. Heath Shaw 13 disposals, Bird just the 2. He's showing him no respect, and Bird isn't really looking dangerous whatsoever.
Great take from ball. Still might mount for something in the end. Dick had it knocked away, and it is O'Keefe that brings it. But for how long? Oh, the ball goes end on end, just as he would have liked. Teasing all the way, but Presty, there he is, up getting a possession. Chasing kicks, Prestigiacomo. Tuvey deep to full forward. Roberts-Thompson is out muscled by Dawes. He's a hard man to move.
And Hutto, you just said it, out muscled. That's what I like about Chris Dawes. He's a strong player. He works for front position. I was really surprised that he was dropped from the Collingwood team a week or 2 ago, because I think with Dawes in the team, one, he's worth his spot because he gets in front. He's strong. If he doesn't mark it, he causes predictable spills to the front. But more importantly, I reckon he takes the heat off Travis Cloke.
Oh, though he's had his eye in tonight, already with 2 goals to his name, both from angles. This considerably closer. And it proves to be too much for him. So Collingwood scoreline again pretty ugly. 4 goals 10. And Sydney 2-4. Another look at the Dawes mark.
He had no right to mark this, Chris Dawes. Lewis Roberts-Thompson, it's a bit too easy, but you have to pay credit to Dawes, and that's where I think he'd be favoured over Anthony at the moment. Anthony more a half-forward type, whereas Dawes really plays a great role for Travis Cloke, as Wolsey said.
Magpies on track for another Queen's birthday type score, and they might be adding to their score shortly as Luke Ball marks the kick in.
The last month, they're the only team that have more behinds than goals.
Sits at 30 metres out. Swan roving it. A group of Swans, though, have it covered. Kirk, Grundy, Shaw, Matner, wrong-sided. Around Thomas. Going for McGlynn. Reid, though, coming back. And McGlynn probably needed to advance a bit more aggressively than that. Reid to Pendlebury, who's been very good. Cool and methodical. As he is here with a lovely little dab. And Thomas has got it.
It'll be absolute stretch his best kick, this. And as Matty Lloyd said, he hasn't been the most accurate from his set shots at goal.
Just interested in the way he holds the ball, Dale Thomas. It's and he sort of...
He's going to Harry O'Brien, come past me and I'll give it to you. He gave him the nod, but it just didn't work out. Has he got confidence in these long shots for goal?
You see the way he moves the ball around. He's got one hand low, one hand high, and
a lot of people doubting Thomas here, and with good reasons, it turns out.
He's got a really poor ball drop, and he just throws the ball around, as we saw in that shot, and whereas he's far greater when he's on the run.
Players that hate you, commentator.
Just swung the ball from left foot to right, and then swung across his body. So I've seen it in him for a number of years, and hasn't improved.
You were busy, weren't you, when you were playing? Side bottom. He takes his chance. And look at the result.
He is one man, Wolsey, that does hit the scoreboard pretty well side, but I've seen him kick 10 goals in an underage grand final, and this is just knowing where the goals are.
Yeah, he's got good goal sense, hasn't he? Bangs it on the left boot. And it's handy to have a midfielder who can average a goal a game, and that's what he's doing. Well, there's Heath Shaw slipping. Big divot taken out there. And you can see this surface up here, it's as soft as can be. There you go, McGlynn. He can't even get the ball to come up. It's like playing football on a soggy Lamington.
This is getting dangerous for the Swans as the margin gets out to 24 points. It's 15 scores to 6. We won't call them all scoring shots because the Magpies have had 4 rushed behinds. Sydney need a goal, but Kirk's kick goes nowhere. Loop ball. Lockyer smothering. Thomas arriving. Dig. A left footer. The goal unguarded. Another one. The Magpies are cooking.
Look, far superior, the Magpies. The centre breaks 15 to 11, but it's just their style going forward in and around the ground. They are playing as Collingwood love to play. Precision passing, able to play on around the boundary lines, and Sydney are looking so slow working the ball forward with no real structure in their forward line.
Well, the Daisy Thomas pickup. Have a look at this, how quick the pickup is. Picks up and dishes off with the left-hand handball. That is as quick and skillful as you'll find. And whilst it did get to the goal, Hutto, but Daisy Thomas, that was just wonderful football. And his mate acknowledges his effort.
He even put it to the left-hand side of Dick, didn't he? So he just had to turn around and put it through. Didak.
He's looking good too, Didak.
A little bit over-ambitious there. Kirk leads the way. Goods is playing out of the goal square now. He might have just given away 50, I reckon.
Nothing in that one.
Harry O'Brien's put Goods down.
Come with me, come with me.
Very soft, I thought, that one, Wolsey.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Didak goes for the big torpy. You can see the result. Bit of a scrubber into the 50. Ball. Again. Oh, look at Davis. His mind was just slightly ahead of the body that time. And we're going to have a ball up.
Thanks, guys.
There's the Goods 50. He'll be the judge. Didak took the mark. Oh, yeah, there was nothing. Mumford, Jolly, Wellingham, got the hands free. Now, Davis. He's kept it in. No.
Hit the behind post.
Hit the small stick.
A lot of their better players are up and about. Heath Shaw, 13 disposals, Swan with 12, Thomas with 11, and Didak with 10.
And they're circling here. Didak being held. I don't mean illegally, just kept off the contest. So McGlynn was able to bring it away. Woods pushing up to be a target that time.
Well, this is Harry O'Brien. He's squaring up with Adam Goods after he put Didak down. Not that there was much in it.
But sometimes we've seen that paid as a free kick, haven't we, this year?
Collingwood right on top. Jack. Reece Shaw. But Sydney's build-up's pretty laborious. Heath Shaw shepherding for Tuvey. And he was able to get out of that far too easily. And he has beams in space. Wellingham running into some space of his own. And Lockyer is within range. Sydney in deep trouble.
They are, and we just saw a quick kick inside 50, and there's one-on-ones and Collingwood outnumbering, and then we see on the rebound Collingwood coming through the corridor and making the forwards' jobs really easy for Collingwood tonight.
So Lockyer from just inside 50.
I've got to say, Tim, there was a lot of faith in Lockyer by teammates then. Thomas and O'Brien both ran behind, even though he was only 45 metres out, looking for the handoff.
The game can catch up with you really quick, and Tarkin Lockyer is just not covering the ground as well as he used to, and he's lost a little bit of depth in his kicking also.
Bevan, powerful kick to Jesse Wright. We all acknowledge his promise. He just needs to find more of the footy. O'Keefe at the intersection of the 50 and the boundary. Gives himself a much better angle than he deserves. He's creeping around, creeping. And then he finds Brett Kirk.
Well, he'll struggle to go the distance from there.
He's looking around. McVeigh's just a metre off the pace here. Looks like Brett Kirk's going to be left to his own devices.
He's kicked 7 goals 2 this year, Brett Kirk. So he's like Cameron Ling. He's kicks the ball okay, just doesn't get too many shots. But you're right, Wolsey, this distance will test him.
Kicked one last week. We've seen him miss one tonight. Boy, the Swans need a goal. For so many years, Brett Kirk has been able to deliver when it matters most, and he can still do the same. It'll be a sad day when the curtain finally comes down on Brett Kirk's career.
It will, Hutto, because you saw the passion even after he kicked that goal. You can see his team's up against it, but just trying to will them back in this match because they've been outclassed, but they have to find a way and keep working their way through this match to, and he's a man inside those centre clearances, has to get them going.
They really will lose a great leader, won't they, at the end of the year?
Look at that reaction. That is enormous.
He's been wonderful for them for a long time.
Yeah, he might be looking to just generate some of that, Hutto. Just sometimes just give it off to your teammates. Come on, let's get ourselves going.
He took a long run up there, came in really hard to get a bit of momentum behind the kick.
He knew what he had to do, Tim, because he's not such a long kick, but he just gave himself every chance by getting back. And as you said, he had momentum and he kicked through the footy and he had nice connection.
Willed himself to do it, as he has done so many times, either kicking goals or just winning the ball and lifting his team. But Sydney have still got some lifting to do. They're 25 points down. Collingwood controlling this game from the start. There he is again, Kirk. But Collingwood have him surrounded. Davis, Pendlebury, Johnson. And it's all the Magpies. Beams, Swan. They're just held up for the moment, but now Swan goes straight through the heart. Cloak's been good, strong, real presence tonight. McVeigh, though, Grundy, Bevan, and Sydney could turn this into something. In the goods direction it comes. He's not playing with confidence. He sure is. He has been superb, but this time he loses control, and McGlynn from the angle slides it home.
Goldsack came a cropper in all of this. Another casualty for Collingwood. Goldsack this time. We'll get an update on that shortly. Here he is caught in the crush.
Yeah, and I think he took the full weight of Adam Goods. But the good thing for the Swans, they've kicked the last couple of goals and they're back in it.
Ben McGlynn, he was a real goal kicker. He kicked 8 goals in 2 games earlier in the year. He hasn't lost it even though he was 5 weeks on the sidelines. And a bit of a burst here for the Swans. The side bottom and Beams try and rectify the situation for the Pies. Shaw. Now Swan to half forward Lockyer trying to lock down Malcheski. We know how much drive he gives the Swans, and without his running mate in Kennelly, it's a little bit harder this time. Even Kirk's mind over matter can't to keep that one in play. It'll be Pendlebury's ball. Didak was trying to sneak a free possession because he hasn't had too many easy ones tonight, but he's up to 10 disposals, Didak. And here's Pendlebury. He's had 13. Collingwood lead by 19, but for the first time their lead and their control of this game just looking a little bit fragile. You know, they got away to a good start against Melbourne and then fell away. Kirk to half forward. And again, Harry O'Brien taking over the duties of Maxwell of chopping off the opposition kicks.
Such a tough player to play on, Harry O'Brien. Just his pace. He's quite a strong player, but really quick off the mark.
Jolly, the ruckman, making himself useful. Just forward of the centre. It's fairly crowded, but if he goes deep, There'll be a chance for these key forwards. Lockyer an unlikely target, but we know that Sidebottom is just so clever around goals. He's put another one through.
And one of the goals, one of the reasons we got a goal there was because Jolly just got a 70-metre play, ran his 15 and was able to kick it 55, and it just went over the back of the pack. Just a really long thumping kick to the goal square, and this young fella read it. The Jolly kick was a beauty because there was distance on it, and it went over the top, front and square positioning there by Steele Sidebottom, and he rode that to perfection. But the big ruckman did a terrific job for the Pies there.
Very sure, playing a good game, but you've got to have your arm across your forward when it goes inside 50 like that.
Sidebottom almost hitting the side and the bottom of the post, but he gets his second. Magpies have got the footy. Thomas. Rowan though for Sydney. Dick chasing hard. Collingwood by 25 late in the half. Mick Malthouse would have to be reasonably pleased with what he's seen, although his countenance doesn't necessarily show it.
And you can see the domination by the Magpies inside 50s in both quarters. They've just about doubled Sydney. Here they go again.
Willingham to ball. A lob. Jolly bringing it down to Dick. He is dangerous around goal. He just delayed 2 steps too long there.
He either should have kicked it earlier or given off the handball, but fantastic sign for Collingwood. I think Wellingham's one player. His touch has been great tonight.
Again, Jolly good, Matty, because he gave the contest in the marking situation. Whilst he didn't mark it, it could only go in one spot, and that was right in front of him. So he's predictable to his teammates, and that they know that he will bring the ball to ground.
Inside 50 count for the quarter is 15 to 8. Dale Thomas able to get it away and get it into Didak. Again, they break down across half forward. Desperate stakes from Lockyer. Made a real competition of it on the 50, which Collingwood are so good at doing. Kennedy brings it away, but not with any style. And the ball will be thrown in. In this quarter, Swans had 8 disposals, Pendlebury 8, Thomas 7. Didak's had 6. There he is. You know that Steele Sidebottom 3 disposals and 2 goals. For the Swans, Brett Kirk's had 9 disposals just in this second quarter. Now Jetta trying to lift the crowd and lift his teammates. McGlynn kicked it into the space, but Reed shuts it down straight away.
It was a good mark. That kick was coming flat and hard. He judged it beautifully and clung on tenaciously. Swan, as ever, important link man for Collingwood, and he receives again and links up and goes for Dawes. Big task there for Bevan, much smaller man, and always behind it in trouble. Here's Cloak. Kick just too close to the line. Collingwood came here tonight of 4 pretty average weeks. Just 1 win and a draw with a couple of losses. Paul Roux said in advance they've often come here of pretty poor form, but really found good form against Sydney. And alas, it's happened again. Free kick to McGlynn.
Such a good travelling side, Tim. Like we look at Melbourne, who are travelling to Adelaide tomorrow, and how they struggle. Essendon are a side that has really struggled, but Collingwood, they really gel together and find something when they're away from home.
Roberts Thompson, but Cloak was under that. Dick. Lockyer. He's still comfortable when he's that close to goal.
Touch play on.
McGlynn over the top. Gets out of jail with Melcheski's assistance. They are struggling to clear the area though, and they're lining up inside. Johnson could give to Beams here. Maybe he should have goes back outside to Didak. Arts the back a couple of times, and then he's cooked. Again, the footing was the issue. Smith with the tackle and the lockdown.
So a minute and a half left, and Sydney could use a goal. Even better, they could use 2. They've got some run here from Melcheski. Good ball. Bird. Quiet. O'Brien will chop it off. Might have been able to mark it, but played the safe option. Mumford, Kennedy hasn't had an impact. Harry's got it again. Goods is down and in trouble as O'Brien breaks away for Collingwood. Dick been very lively since coming back. He can run here. Now, he's got a long target. Has he got the depth in the kick? No, he hasn't.
He's ambitious. He needed to kick that 85 metres.
Malcheski for Rowan. And as we can see, there is 34 seconds remaining, and the lead is at 25. Rowan with, man on the mark, side bottom. Whether he actually went over the mark or not.
Let's go back, have a look at this. This was Jolly bringing the ball to the advantage position for his teammate. Now, that is just wonderful football. He deliberately put that in the path of Dick. How clever is that? Love ruckman, Lloydie.
Kennedy.
I know you don't.
With the clearance. Prestigiacomo, such a little nudge. Gets it away nicely to Ben Johnson. Thinks about it and then does all that he can, which is just go for broke down the line. Pretty easy pickings for Gary Rowan, and there's only 8 seconds to make an impact now. You'd think it's unlikely.
A few of the young boys for the Sydney Swans have found they're going tough tonight. Gary Rowan just the 2 disposals, Bird with 3, and Hanbury just the 5 also.
Ball dropping short. Mumford gets a free.
You know why it's dropping short, Hunter?
No, stop in play.
Because we're having well over the average number of boundary throw-ins, because both of these teams take it round the boundary line a lot, so the boundary umpires, they're exhausted.
All right, well that brings proceedings to a halt at half-time. Collingwood look as if they're going to continue on their winning ways against Sydney.
Well, you'd think so, Hunter, but let's not forget what happened last night. But the indications are that they will. They've had double the inside 50s. They've had 9 scoring shots in this quarter to Sydney's 3, and 10 of Sydney's players in that quarter had 1 or less disposals. Amazingly low.
You wouldn't have been out of place out there on that Auskick match.
Well, they've got to get the clearances going their way, and that in turn will mean more inside 50 entries, because they've really struggled in the second quarter to do that.
Thanks, Wolsey, bringing a bit of maturity to the coverage as Johnson makes the first takeaway for Collingwood. Pendlebury running wide for him, waiting. He's been unhurried in everything he's done tonight. Lee Brown, Mattner just making the spoil. So a ball up. The Swans facing a 25-point deficit as the second half starts. They did get back and give Collingwood a scare, I think, in the third quarter last year. Is Jude Bolton off to Jack, and Sydney break. Prestigiacomo outpointing Goods there, not quite hanging onto the mark. But it's Collingwood's ball to Shaw. Long into the 50. Roberts-Thompson's had his hands full with Dawes. Dick's dangerous. Swan well tackled by McVeigh. Second effort, Swan. All Collingwood, but too much on the kick. And an apology to go with it.
And it could have been just a left-hand handball over to Darren Jolly in the goal square, but that's another let-off for the Sydney Swans.
There's 3 players there, weren't they? All frustrated with the end result. Yeah,
Ryan O'Keefe starting in the forward line with Adam Goods. I think Paul Roos is saying get a bit of quality up forward. If we can get it up there, they're the 2 players who are most likely to kick goals.
Pivotal mark there from Grundy. The kick was so close to the boundary line. Malcheski gets a bit of protection, some good protection as it turned out from Jeddah. Made it difficult for Rhys Shaw. Inherited a tough situation there, but got out of it well. Good depth on the kick too. McGlynn wears one. Doesn't get a free. Tuvey as desperate as he always is. Sheer weight of numbers win out for Sydney. They've worked it forward. Fairly haphazard kick, but it can produce something, can it? Maybe not. Maybe it still can. Around the corner. And it's Kennedy kicking the goal. Or Bird.
Well, O'Keefe was involved in that play, and under real pressure near the boundary line, he was able to hook it to the goal square. 2 against 1 situation, and the Swans won out.
Gee, was close to taking it out, O'Keefe. He was to get a look along the line.
End result was a goal for Craig Bird. Did this go out of bounds?
I'd say yes.
Yeah.
And the whole ball was out of bounds.
The boundary umpire in perfect position. So, you know, if he's got it wrong, he shouldn't have.
Well, it's the goal this game needed. The Swans are within 20 points as they get the first of the half. And Reece Shaw is on rubbery legs. But the game goes on, and so does Reece. Sydney hitting in hard. Mumford took a couple of men to bring the giant down.
What I like about this, though, the ball's on the wing and Goods is holding his position in the forward line. That puts pressure on Presty.
Jolly and Mumford sharing that one, both having a slice. Smith. Mapner. Good left foot kick. Placing it. Oh, good hands by O'Keefe. The kick from the boundary line might have been doubtful. There was no doubt about that. And he gets a result too here. McGlynn been dangerous in the front half. Kicked a couple of goals. Reece Shaw, Kennedy. Now Goods makes his move, but he got into a bank and he gives away a free.
He was terrific.
You've got something for us on the boundary.
I have, Timmy. It's there's two eclipses happening at the moment. Collingwood are eclipsing the Swannies at the moment, but in the sky, the moon is in the midst of it, what looks like an eclipse. I'm not a great astronomer, but it certainly does look like there's something coming across a magnificent sight.
Just concentrate on the football.
I think we can confirm it is a shadow, course.
What about astrology, Court? What do you like with that? Any chance here, the Swans?
Not at this stage.
Okay, Preston Giacomo kicks the half forward. There's a good grab from Lee Brown. Over to Beams. Into the pocket. Good body work again from Cloak just to try and work off Grundy, but there was not a lot of room to work with.
Just on Adam Goods, Wolsey, I think one thing he is doing is I think he's getting to the contest too early, so he's having to sit under balls far too often. I think his timing is out, and that's where I don't mind him moving to full forward because it can hold his leads back a bit, but he is definitely out of sorts at the moment.
Jolly got it down. Pendlebury, Melcheski all getting a piece of it. Good tackle again, Pendlebury. McVeigh, they're happy to get the 50-50 result, I suspect, there, the Swans.
What would you think about giving him 8 minutes in the ruck?
Oh, I think it's something he has to. I think he's had no influence whatsoever. His stats on the night are still only the 5 disposals, 3 kicks, 2 handballs. I think he should be getting that a quarter, so I think that'd be a great move, wasn't it?
Jolly. Pendlebury. It's a bottleneck. 30 metres out from goal. And another bounce required. It's Presty and Goods. They have pushed up, so everyone in the front half of the ground. With Collingwood attacking. Jolly trying to give Pendlebury a bit of a run at it. Gee, Ben McGlynn. He knew he had to get rid of it. What a great game he's playing. He's showing terrific skills and endeavour. This is Jetta around the corner. O'Keefe can't get to it. Held off by O'Brien. Allows Reid to take the mark unencumbered. He fires the pass in, but it's Big Mumford with those desperate stakes and terrific anticipation. Gives it to Goods, who changes his mind. It was a good decision. Now Jetta with a blinding run through the middle. Watch him go and kick, and it's going, and it's just not quite on the right path.
Number 14, no goals, 14 behinds for the season to the young man. I tell you what, there'll be a massive celebration when he pots one.
Up here, if not out in the crowd. Not sure whether they're as well acquainted with his stats. So, 19 points is the margin. If Sydney could kick the next, they'll have a sniff. Heath Shaw. 3. And then the hefty but high ball. Rowan camped under it. There's a Shepherd off the ball. Reece Shaw, the offender. Thomas takes it, gives to Johnson. Collingwood in a wave. Beams, Lockyer. Still 70 out. Kicking it to Brown. Well placed here. Just too strong for Matner. And kicking the steadier for the Magpies.
Really good kick by Lockyer, and they played that ball on. That's where you could see the Shepherd off the ball, and Reshaw penalised. The Lockyer kick is a beauty to the advantage side of Lee Brown.
Such a great build-up for the Magpies. They've had 46 uncontested marks to the Swans 31. I think that's what the Swans need to stop to be in this match. But Collingwood have played it as they love to play it all night.
Mumford with the tap. Kennedy gets them going. Johnson, Dane Swan, fairly blind handball as it turned out. Jack and Bird and Kennedy able to collaborate to half-forward O'Keefe and O'Brien. Hanbury certainly hasn't found the going too easy tonight. Shoveled out by Shaw to Johnson to Reid. White can close here. Jetta! Is this the one? No, it's not. That's 15.
Not 15.
Three of them tonight. They just won't find their way home for him. He's a good young player, though. He's thrilling to watch. Beautifully balanced. Johnson clears for Collingwood. Sydney with 2 on 1. Didak arriving, overrunning it. Jack. Smith off to Bolton. Putting it in the right spot. White from behind. Just couldn't hang on. Collingwood teaming well down the back. Beams mown down. Jetta had to go off the ground. We'll get him one eventually. There'll be a ball up. He was on the break too. No one's on his side. Umpire Finlay taking the ball off him. Sydney pressing. Pike used the body excessively. Free kick to the Magpies. They'll come back.
Yeah, Mike Pike, just the one handball for the night. He's still learning this game and just a bit over exuberant there, crashing into Darren Jolly's back.
So Jolly with the responsibility of taking it out of the 50. Smith and Pendlebury, trusting Pendlebury's skills in the air that time. Maybe a few extra centimetres on Smith. Steve McVerney's going to intervene here, you would suspect.
He doesn't have it.
Hutto, you mentioned Ben McGlynn and his impact this quarter. His attack on the ball, you see him get hit there. And look at the attack. I think he's really, we saw Brett Kirk earlier. Ben McGlynn, I didn't realise what a quality player he was, but he's really been influential this quarter.
He's been a terrific pickup. There's Booms getting busy around the pack. And again, with some help from Swan. Launches to the wing. Cloak in the air against Melcheski. Side bottom and Thomas there for the Pies. Comes to Wellingham. Oh, he handballed it. Gave it straight up to Bolton, who's happy to oblige and take it away. Matner took something off the kick. And that something was enough for Dane Swan to get involved.
Yeah, and Dane Swan cutting off the lead of Adam Goods. We saw Heath Shaw do the same thing a couple of minutes ago. So Presti getting great support from his midfielders.
It is just not Goods' night. I think he desperately needs that run up the ground. Brown skidding it into Davis. Swans have him outnumbered. Bevan and Roberts-Thompson. A couple of Sydney blondes. Lee Brown stolen by Grundy. Sydney still playing with some faith and belief. Bird now Goods is up the ground, pumping it long. White one out with Reid, who did well. Prestigiacomo and Swan, and Collingwood seemingly with the answers down the back. Not a great kick, not a bad outcome for the Magpies. Beautifully done by Dick. A little slight of hip. Roberts-Thompson covers for Sydney. Rowan, youngster under the pump, thrown off it though by Davis. Didn't have it, clear free.
Another quiet night for Leon Davis. That's his second free kick he's given away. And also just a 5 disposals for him.
That was the free kick.
Dane Swan in picture. Most disposals for Collingwood, spending a lot of time in the defensive half of the Magpies, helping block the kicks that are heading towards Goods.
So they've worked it from Rowan to Matner to Grundy. to McVeigh.
Right there.
He's a prime mover for the Swans. He's had just 9 disposals tonight. He's looking for an answer here inside the 50. Oh, got half run down. Well played, all high contact on side bottom. Look at it again as he kicks it out to the wing to Lee Brown. Probing ball. Mattner as courageous as ever. Cloak was the last man standing. Hard for Dick here. Just couldn't get hold of it. Nick Smith was there, and so was Melcheski. The backup brigade arrived. And out of defence, it's Reece Shaw. Again, they're moving with good purpose out of defence now. More zip about them and good overflow. Bolton through the head back, bit of whiplash play on the call. Under pressure from Brown, didn't panic. Well, he did turn it over in the end. Beams tries to get some space for Turvey. That was quickly closed down. Davis, a high one inside the 50, or at least to the edge of the 50. And Lockyer is there. There's nothing for him long at this stage. Lockyer. Short was a couple of options to ball. Cloaks going forward and back. Didak's down in the goal square.
And Dawes is pushing deep.
Yeah, Dawes drifts into the goal square, and that's where the ball will head. Didak waits if it does hit the turf. But it almost didn't. Mumford received. Well done from Hanbury in front. But it's inside bottom again. And this time his goal-kicking prowess not on display. Behind. And the margin stays at 24.
Did you like playing on this ground, Lordy?
Oh, it's a hard game. I think if your midfield was on top and you're using the centre corridor, you're always a chance. But it's one thing about Collingwood. They play this ground differently. They use the boundary lines. That's their style. But it could be a cold, lonely place if your midfield wasn't on top.
Melcheski, O'Keefe arriving hard. Side bottom. Wellingham. Collingwood dangerous here. Beams, ball, Lockyer on the bounce. On the bounce, clean bowled him. Mattner working hard back there. Bevan, Kirk, McVeigh. And now Sydney in the wave. Kennedy to Jack. Long ball. An open front half. O'Brien's been terrific. O'Keefe had him out of position there. McGlynn went low, hoping for the free. Rightly didn't get it. Still Sydney with numbers there. Big Mumford arriving. Brought down like a tree. McVeigh getting a boot onto it. O'Brien and side bottom. Side bottom. Clever little hand pass. Wellingham. Brown. O'Brien. And he has a man loose. And it's a big man in Darren Jolly who can run and kick long and put Collingwood into attacks.
It was a frantic passage of play, wasn't it? And now Thomas slides towards goal. Around the chicane he goes. And he kicks it right across the face. And that's another one missed for the Pies.
Sydney fans are filthy. They thought it was a free kick against Heath Shaw. It was frantic, and they ran it out really well.
Well, they're still deep. Thomas is still at the back on his own. They can get it out to him. They can't. Rowan. Good tackling from Davis. It falls for Didak. He was off balance as he kicked it. Had more time than he realised. A blemish again, and Collingwood go to 8-14 or 8-13.
Low-scoring games are played here at ANZ, and that's because the surface is very dicey, very slippery, very heavy, and it's hard for the players to get a decent footing.
Just a goal apiece in more than half a quarter. Mumford up for Sydney. Bolton down. Pendlebury the steal. Thomas, this is promising. Swan drilling it forward, and Travis Cloak has been an imposing presence all night.
And they got a mismatch there. He actually had Paul Bevan trailing in, but their hands around the contest. You look here, he's giving away 10 centimetres and 15-20 kilos. So they obviously got caught, and Collingwood do work so well together as a forward group.
That's because they've got a terrific forward line coach, Lloydie.
Who was that?
Nathan Buckley.
Cloak looks so powerful and dangerous on his good nights and days. He should kick this, and he does, and he stretches Collingwood's lead.
Been really impressed here. Sydney have struggled to get the ball out of defensive 50 all night. just getting the ball back to ground. And what's the clean hands of Collingwood? Pendlebury, that's a great. Thomas inside to Dane Swan, and he's a real good finisher.
And there's Nathan Buckley, forward line coach for the Magpies. And this is interesting. Reece Shaw's gone forward for Sydney. Very rarely see him play there.
So Pooroo's trying a few things. Mumford and Jolly face off again in the middle. Jolly for Bolton. I guess they know how to read his taps after 5 seasons here. Jack to half forward. Here is Reece Shaw trying to shrug the shoulders and give them something across the 50. Kirk, it comes through like a production line, and Jack is the finisher. He misses.
Good run there, though, from Jack. It's obviously the finish didn't work for him, but he works really hard. He's had Dane Swan all night. Swan has had 22 disposals, but that's what Jack's. He's had 18 of his own.
They've moved the ball okay in this quarter,
yeah,
haven't they? But they just, again, it's that clean penetration into the 50.
How they'd love Daniel Bradshaw to be playing, just to add to that structure, which would allow Adam Goods to play in the midfield. Johnson, Mattner arriving with the spoil. McGlynn, McVeigh had a call over the top, just couldn't get it across. Mattner did get it across the boundary line. So it's Collingwood by 31 and Sydney making no impression. The Magpies just seem to have too many aces. They keep coming at you with that deep midfield. Kennedy to Mattner. Nice stab. McGlynn has really tried to lift Sydney through this night. It's this slow ball movement again, Tim. They've really struggling to get any quality balls inside 50.
Goods launching himself. Still cannot take a trick. Got it again. Again, it doesn't come off. Heath Shaw going at it strongly with real conviction. Sydney have it inside their 50 and desperately need a goal.
And the two big fellas in the ruck, Jolly, Mumford, we've looked forward to this. 18 hit outs each.
And they go again. Mumford that time give him the advantage. Didak. And there's Davis getting back to help out in defence. Advantage paid and taken by Thomas. Linking up. There's a bit going on off the ball as Didak kicks almost a little wing in the mark taken by Mattner. The Swans can wind up again here. There's a good solid mark from Bevan, and it opens up the outer side. But the kicks like that, it's not going to be to their own advantage. Dawes, a bit of confusion, has to wait for what's from behind. Maybe Cloak with that thumping 60-metre effortless kick can give Dick an opportunity. Rowan tries to close him down, and he does that effectively. Another chance for Collingwood to score from a turnover.
Worked the mark really well there, still side bottom.
Throw in, high ball, dropping short, Wolsey. Grundy the tap, side bottom for Collingwood. See a ball up.
Looking at this tonight, Wolsey, what are the key areas that the Swans are lacking?
Well, I don't think they play on quickly enough, and I think they take the ball too wide. I don't think there's enough dare in their play. It's just a bit too regimented and try to be precise as they crab it.
Thomas out the back to Cloak. Swinging it wide. Cloak has 2 goals, 2. Magpies lead is out beyond 5 goals.
So Malcheski back to the drawing board for Sydney here. What can they do from the kick-ins? It's been an issue for them. This is their get-out, just the kick to the self, and then as long as you can down the flank to the big blokes. And there's a couple of big blokes there. At the bottom, at the base of the pack, Kennedy had to fight his own battle on his own. Got some help eventually. Grundy and now Mattner come away with it. Linking up with Rowan. Needs the obliging bounce. Was handicapped initially and then made it his own. Showed great endeavour. And great dare to take him into the 50. Maybe bit off a little bit more than he could chew, but I don't think the coach would be too upset. Jenner not having a shot. McVeigh ducks in and under, and the kick's good. To the top of the goal square. Mark or free kick to O'Keefe. It will be a Sydney goal.
Inside the square, come
I think this has been a good move to put O'Keefe up forward. And in the last few minutes, they've released Goods to play in the midfield. Get him into the game.
And so O'Keefe should be able to pop it through. And it's back to 26 points, the difference.
Harry O'Brien arguing, but I'm not sure what he's got to argue about. He had no eyes on the football whatsoever, and it's a free kick every time.
Tough though. Yeah, he didn't go at the man, did he? He was.
That's the rule. You've at least got to.
Did he actually make contact with him?
Oh, he did, and that's the rule. You've got to be facing, at least hit the ball, not hit the player.
Adam Goods, 8 disposals, late third quarter. Paul Roos has decided to give him a chance to free up and put him in the thick of the action. I think it's a good move.
Be interesting to see what he can do now. He's been like a constrained colt all night, and he's got it straight away, and he gets himself out of the traffic and kicks well. O'Keefe giving O'Brien something to think about. Beams to Goldsack though, good for Collingwood. Malcheski the spoil on Lockyer. Excellent recovery. Didak, obliging bounce. Danger here for Sydney. Lovely kick. And big Darren Jolly.
You know what, Tim? Jolly wasn't sure what was going on. The Didak kick was so good he didn't have to think. All he had to do was move forward about 5 steps. He spotted Jolly and he's just put this perfect drop punt pass and said, hey, I'll kick it. You just move a little bit and I'll set you up. And again, this is a plus having this fella. Averages a goal a game in recent years, playing as a ruckman, and that's a great return.
Kicked a few goals on this ground. Should kick one here. And every time Sydney get one, Collingwood seem to come back with at least one of their own, and they've done it again.
It's an asset Darren Jolly's brought to through his whole career as a ruckman. He can go forward and he can kick a goal. He's not a huge accumulator of possessions, but when he does go forward, he more than often kicks a goal, and he is a beautiful kick for such a big man. Wolsey, just the build-up to this goal. Watch Alan Didak and Kieran Jack. Just the footy smarts of Didak in the top of your screen. Jack loses focus on the ball. He's man watching, and Didak, that's a man who's played footy his whole life, and Kieran Jack as a late starter to AFL football.
Here's Didak now, full of confidence out wide. He spreads side bottom with the left foot ball to Davis, who still can't take the mark, talking of confidence and being devoid of it. Back he goes to side bottom, and now Johnson, the lead up of Beams, almost but not quite. Good point you made, Tim, that they really have had the answer in goals, haven't they, tonight, Collingwood? And often they've come with a kick into one of the big blokes. There's Mumford now.
And there's big Mumford up at full forward.
All bobbling around. Up for grabs at half back. Good fierce tackling. It's been a trademark of Collingwood's forward 50 this year.
O'Keefe back on.
Here he is with Harry O'Brien. Fender down into the open spaces. McGlynn tries to make the play. Beams looking for the free, gets it.
Fell in his back. Right there.
Fall was the word there.
Right on it, Nick.
Beams fell to ground, and then McGlynn fell right into the back. So Beams to send Collingwood forward. Gets a bit of extra meterage on the kick. Not sure if it's to the advantage. It turns out to be a behind. Again, we say late goals in the quarter is what is desperately required for the Swans.
And this is the kick-ins where they've broken down all night, and they've done the same thing time and time again, just kick long to a contest.
Mantner's been good, and he does kick long to a contest, which is beautifully rowed by McVeigh. Hasn't had his best night. Malcheski delayed because he just couldn't see a target. Reece Shaw can see a one-on-one, and his kick's just too strong for O'Keefe, and picked off by Prestigiacomo. with ease. His kick's well controlled to Thomas. Gives to Tuvey. To Didak.
Whereas a Swans defender, you've got to be playing in front of your Collingwood opponent, because all they do is lead up. They rarely go long. See?
Well, there's 3 in a row.
Come out.
And Swan might make it 4.
Kick just had him stretching, and Malcheski was able to knock it away. So inside the last 2 minutes of the quarter, and Collingwood maintaining control of the game. They led by 25 at half-time. They've stretched it to 33, and they're showing no signs of letting Sydney back in.
Great tussle continues there. Knocked away from Brown. Our side bottom gets some good feeding, and the kick into the 50 was intricate and perfect for Jolly.
And the big fella, the distance won't worry him. That ball was rove perfectly at the ruck contest by Ball, who had real momentum up. Dished it off the handball.
Luke Ball, Wolsey, once again, he's had 5 tackles and 5 clearances, where he leads the categories for the Pies.
He's been terrific for them, Matty. This fellow means that Josh Fraser is just about out of a job for Collingwood.
That's a good question about what Collingwood's 22 will be heading into the finals. And that's away to the right. Obviously, it'll depend on who they play, but we're having the discussion on radio this morning, Lloydie, about whether they need to settle on a lineup in the next few weeks and roughly stick with that, or whether they can keep chopping and changing. We know depth is one of their strengths, but maybe it can work against you if you're trying to give games to every player.
I actually like Lee Brown in the side. I think he serves a real purpose. And that, once again, Tim, they've fallen down there all night.
And predictable. That's why Davis was able to say, I reckon I know what he's going to do, because he's done it 6 times tonight.
Marty Matner, being a left footer, he never ever goes to the other side.
Well, a goal here, and it's a good night, but Jolly's kick is even wider than the last one, and he can have another ruck contest up in the forward pocket. No, he won't. It's out on the full, of course. It's a free kick to McVeigh, and Sydney have time enough, and probably need to kick a goal here to give themselves any hope going into the last quarter. That's if any hope does exist. Well, they've got some movement. Malcheski, Bolt, good takeaway. White leads Goldsack to it. Good collect. Just couldn't get rid of him. And that's the Collingwood ethos. They just keep at you. And it falls their way. O'Brien clears. Wellingham diving in, which means you've then got to get rid of it. Kennedy for Sydney. Grundy, McVeigh, but time against the Swans, and the Magpies are going to go to the last change. 34-point leaders.
I think the key to this quarter was that every time Sydney challenged, Collingwood found something and won the quarter and extended their lead. But they've had all the answers. They've played their game style to a T and have dominated with 50 inside 50s to 31. And
they are certainly a premiership contender. I'm sure Monday night on 1 Week at a Time, the boys will be talking about all the contenders and the pretenders in season 2010. About to get underway, and the margin is 34 points. 10-17, 77 to 6-7, 43. Once again, it's Mumford and Jolly who charge into each other. Wasn't the deepest of bounces. Falls Bolton's way. Promising lead from O'Keefe, but it's quickly shut down. And Pendlebury with some quick thinking sends Wellingham away. It's a big play here, and Matner made it his own, but they always do the team things. And Thomas, well read though by Goods. Left foot kick, just out of the reach of Reid. Nice play from White to keep it alive. There's a bit of hanging on, but no, the ball was over the boundary line and out of bounds. Lloyd, I wonder if the name Ricky Mott means anything to you.
That's the one, Hutto. We're talking about close encounters here at ANZ Stadium, and the first one ever was between Sydney and the Bombers, and Ricky Mott missed a crucial one with 40 seconds to go, and Essendon won by 4 points. The name was racking our brains at 3/4 time. It's just come to Hutto.
Goods gets it away to McVeigh. Doing all their work up against the line, and we're going to have a throw in. So the margin still 34. Any hope for the Swans here, boys?
27 scoring shots to 13, so you wouldn't have thought so. It's just about as Wolsey said, their game style, and can they start to cover the ball?
Mumford, Jude Bolton misses. Oh, golden opportunity. Hit the woodwork. Lovely bit of ruck work by the big man.
How have you adjudicated that one tonight then, Rob, the ruck contest?
I reckon as far as ruck work goes, they've pretty much broken even. I reckon around the ground, Jolly's been in front.
Roberts-Thompson making Grundy work for him. Some good bit of movement ahead here from Bevan, who takes the mark, but again just clusters of players spread out through the forward area, and trying to envisage where to kick the ball and even where to lead is not easy. Very deep. There's a chance here for a one-on-one for Jesse White, who's almost done enough, not quite. Goldsack, Jolly, Wellingham. They were squeezing them a bit there, the Swans, so the kick's a bit haphazard, and it gives Sydney the chance to reload. Hanbury around the corner trying to get Goods to Goldsack in fringe, and fringe, no, he didn't. Down to Neil Cordy.
Yes, Hutto, couldn't help but noticing in that shot of Daniel Bradshaw there in the break that, look immediately to his right, that's Tammy Roos, wife of Paul, and clearly unimpressed with proceedings.
Yeah, very long face. Swans looking for the first goal, just to try and generate something. But Collingwood's defence holding them up again. Nothing's come easily for Sydney tonight. Luke Ball in the heart of it. Jack getting a kick out of there cleverly. White not able to control the falling footy. Rush behind. Margin still beyond 5 goals. Sydney have only once tonight been able to kick consecutive goals, and every other one they've kicked has been answered within 5.5 minutes.
Well, Wolsey, one of the stats that's really standing out is marks inside 50. It's actually 14 to Collingwood, just the 3 to the Sydney Swans. So White and Goods have really struggled due to the numbers of Collingwood. Yeah, well, the Collingwood midfielders have got back to help out, and the Collingwood ruckman, and we saw that only a couple of minutes ago, Jolly getting back to help out.
Kennedy tried to measure the pass to McGlynn. The sweeper was sideball, and they give it straight back up to Shaw. That was a gift, which he duly accepts and converts. And it was Leon Davis with the errant handball.
Yeah, he just gave it up far too easy, Hutto, and
panic, wasn't it?
It was, and that's shown. He's just been lack touch all night due to confidence, and Tim was hoping there'd be one moment that might click it for him, but it just hasn't happened.
Well, Paul Roos has made some moves, I think, that have been positive. This fella into the forward line with O'Keefe, and moving Goods into the ruck as a ruck rover.
Well, they have been one from here. The margin 26. Important goal for Sydney. Mumford crashing through. Swan, bit quick for Wellingham. Thomas there as a third line. Josh Kennedy working hard. Goods, 2 of them got him. Ball gets it forward for the Magpies. Awkward for Dick. Davis, nothing has gone right for him tonight. Matner, Grundy, Kennedy. Swans on the breakaway here. Now Bird, forward of the wing. Has a look. Pumps it long and high. Not the best approach shot. And Collingwood cover it. Swan banging it back. Beautifully taken by Wellingham.
He thought it was a free kick.
Yes, he heard the whistle. He stopped. Now he's gone. And it might work pretty well for Collingwood. Brown and Grundy. Grundy front position. And he gets the reward.
You had him by the arm.
So Grundy sees Bevan. He'll see Hanbury coming at him. But Dick, not an easy man to get past necessarily. He makes a liar of me there.
Hurt his shoulder, Dick.
Side bottom, couldn't take the mark. Looking for the footy, now laying a tackle over the top.
Hurt his shoulder in that tackle. He got injured earlier in the game. Obviously got a problem there.
Yeah, that's the type of shoulder injury, Wolsey, as we see on the tackle. But he's got to weigh up now. Does he let it keep popping out, or does he go in and have surgery? Because so many players have to contend with that now.
Another wrestle in the ruck. Luke Ball striding away with purpose. Hit at the 50. Dawes was a good target. They got 3 tools down there at the moment, Collingwood. The fleet of foot Smith comes away for the Swans. Cruel bounce. Really handicapped by it was Jack. And Goldsack's able to sneak away and kick deep into the pocket for Brown, who lunges at it and heaves in the mark.
And while he's having this shot for goal, 3 Magpies take the opportunity to come off the field for a rotation.
I really think he plays a key role, Lee Brown. I reckon he's played well tonight, and whether it's pushing back into defence or providing a target.
Who would you have in the team, Brown or Fraser?
As it stands now, Brown.
Well, possession is all important, and he owns the spot at the moment. And goals like that won't harm his cause at all.
Disposals and 2 goals now, and it's an area where I've seen him kick 3 or 4 goals on previous matches, and Cloke and Dawes aren't prolific goal scorers, so they need that extra bit of support, and he definitely adds that.
Lee Brown kicks the goal. Here's some Luke Ball. It's fair to say there was some questions, some doubters about Luke Ball's value. No one ever questioned his endeavour, but when he's been playing for Collingwood and been at full fitness, he's been a terrific contributor this year.
He has. I think he felt that Ross Lyon lost the belief in him and what he could do as a player, and he's definitely been given that by Mick Malthouse.
10 contested possessions for the night. Yet again, a Sydney goal is quickly answered by Collingwood. McVeigh marks this just inside the line, and the Swans could try and set up another. Jude Bolton arriving, just couldn't get his hands onto it. Here comes Rowan. Wellingham the other way for the Magpies. Got him high. Free kick to the red-headed Rowan.
He was still right there, Sharon.
On with the umpire. I think if a player gets there first with his head over it, the oncoming man has the onus on him to avoid contact.
He clearly ducked his head there, Tim.
But his head was over the ball. That was the place to have your head.
Very soft line.
Yeah, me too.
Contact above the shoulders, according to the rule book, when I last read it, is illegal contact. He kicks a goal. So the Swans just keep it alive. Wasn't a lot of contact, but his head was over the footy.
He ducked his head, and the ruling, as I understand
but there's nothing that stops him from doing that.
If you duck your head.
No, that's if you've got the ball and a tackler comes at you. He's putting his head over the footy.
His aim there is not to put his head over the footy, it's to duck his head and for the contact.
Are we saying any contact is a free kick, or is the contact isn't sufficient enough? Surely it must be play on.
Well, it's written in the book as quite black and white.
So any contact's a free kick.
It's not always interpreted that way, but that's what it says in the rule book.
I'm keeping out of it.
For once. Oh, it's a hard game to umpire. There's no doubt about that.
With the silent voice of reason, Walls.
32 points is the margin. Beams. Swan. What a player. 25 disposals again tonight. Here's Bird.
Right there, Chris. Wait.
So it's back to 26 as what we have agreed on, Tim, is that every time Sydney look threatening, Collingwood are able to snaffle a goal. So let's see if the Swans can string a couple together, perhaps. Matner. Back to Roberts Thompson, maybe trying to draw the Pies out a little bit here.
I don't think they've worked as hard as Collingwood tonight. It's easy to get kicks out there, but I just think that Collingwood have used the corridor and ran far harder than the Sydney Swans. There's not much movement going on further up the ground.
So this is Kennedy. He's been an important recruit, averaging nearly 4 inside 50s per game this year.
No movement there. It's caused that turnover.
And no one on the mark means Pendlebury can stride away. Well, Davis does not improve. It does with that kick.
3 times Jolly's marked in front of Lewis, Roberts, Thompson.
I think that's what happens when your midfielders are running hard and they're moving. It creates an easier lead for the key forward.
8 goals, 2 going into tonight, Darren Jolly. And he's kicked 1-2 so far for the evening. He winds into another big bomb. It's not on line. More height than anything. McVeigh latched onto by Lockyer. Did he have pro opportunity? The umpire says it's play on. And Melcheski almost handballed that to himself. Comes away, does it solo. Goods right there with him side by side. Presta Giacomo. So the footy's coming back in. Swan to Thomas. And Thomas in a bit of a tough spot here. Hard to see him kicking a goal from there. From one step, sets it up, looking for Jolly or Dawes. And again, Lockyer there to try and lay the tackle. Gee, ran a long way, Melcheski, to get it over the try line. It's a behind.
Luke Ball back on, and we spoke about his contested ball wins more than anybody on the ground. He's also had 7 clearances, which is #1.
Melcheski, yes, he allowed himself to be buffeted over in the end there. Reid making the spoil on the Glen.
Another one of these kick-ins. It's Marty Matner's given it to Melcheski, but it's another left footer. So they're going to the same side time and time again. I think it's time they actually went for some quick play-ons out from fullback kick-ins.
Pike doing the ruck work for Sydney. He'll be doing it again. Swans need 5 goals to pinch this, and they've only kicked 8 for the night. It would take a minor miracle, but there is enough time. Lee Brown and Mike Pike. And it favours Kennedy, who gets the knock for the Swans. Jack Hanbury, quiet night tonight, buried by a 2-man tackle. There's a kick in danger, and a free kick to Kirk.
Dane Swan pulled the kick, and now a 50-metre penalty,
which would put him about on the spot from where he kicked the goal at this end in the second quarter. Maybe not quite there. It looks as though, well, man on the mark will be about 47 out. Now,
well, he's close in, isn't he? He went back. When he kicked that goal, he went well back, so he's going to short it.
Now, it's not 15, so he hasn't given it enough. And Harry O'Brien makes O'Keefe pay and wins the free kick. Well, that's a disappointing result for Sydney.
Played a great game, Harry O'Brien. He's taken Ryan O'Keefe a lot of the time, and you see this tackle though, he just gets you and he won't let you out. Harry O'Brien 13 disposals and Ryan O'Keefe just the 14.
And it's as though O'Brien has decided to take personal responsibility in the absence of the captain Maxwell. Kick there from Kennedy, not good. Lee Brown doing good things at either end. Beams and Johnson.
The thing about Lee Brown, Tim, is that he can play either end, forward or defence, and take a turn in the ruck, as we've seen tonight.
Bird extracting for Sydney. Jetta is quick and clever. Bird again. Collingwood lifting the intensity here. Kirk, good first half, been quieter in the second. Now Grundy for the Swans, steering it to Rowan, who kicked that goal a little while ago to just fan the flames. Now Smith, a left footer, wants to come inside. And they've got 2 men here, McVeigh, and now they've got Rowan inside 50, over the top to Bolton to put the Swans in with a chance. And for the second time in the quarter, Jude Bolton misses.
Paul Roos has got his laughing face back on. Where's all that anger from quarter time gone, Rosie? Let's see what Heath Shaw can come up with from the kick in. Short stuff to ball. And a high. Good luck. The big and the small both go out, and the little man comes up with Glenn with the mark. So the Swans going to reset in their forward 50. Let's see what they got deep. They got Goods and White. Goods calls for it. White comes late. Oh, he got there, and he might just about come up with a goal with an awkward looking kick. Despite the efforts of Beams, it's an unconvincing but effective goal. and it's 20 points.
I think it's one of the first times that they've actually decided to put it to the top of the square. Wolsey's highlighted a couple of times. Just Darren Jolly just kicking it to the top to give the big men an opportunity, and that's what it creates. It creates nervous defenders when the ball's 10 metres out from goal.
So just a little bit of concern showing in the Collingwood camp now. Sydney close to within 20. And there is enough time. Nearly 9 minutes, in fact. Almost half a quarter. Jolly and Mumford. Mumford winning. Didak couldn't hold on to it. Fights on. Swans just playing with a bit more urgency. Hanbury squirting it to Bolton. Quick kick, well placed. Jetta Heath-Shaw just a little bit too worldly wise for young Jetta, and he kicks to Swan.
Who moves it onto Beams. He's got the wing to himself. Can think about a couple of bounces. He's thinking about where to kick it into the 50. Dawes is a logical target. There's some heavy body work going on. And again, Ross Roberts-Thompson is penalised.
He's had a bad night, Roberts-Thompson, on Jolly. And you see the arm around the body there, umpiring the position, and always a free kick.
And how's the differences in the inside 50s and the ball movement moving forward? Have not seen a one-on-one all night for the Sydney Swans, and it's happened time and time again because the Pies have got a free man out in the wide open spaces.
So 5 marks and 2 goals, 1 for Chris Dawes. You can see what's ahead of him. Just a slight angle to negotiate, and surely this time Collingwood are home.
I like this big fella, Matty, and he's taken 5 marks, most of them inside the forward 50, and that's a good night's work. Compare that with Travis Cloke, who's taken 2 marks for the night, and I think that's a pretty good indication why he should be in this Collingwood team, because he can mark, he can kick goals. I've got no doubt he can also take a turn in the ruck if needed.
Good effort this by Collingwood, just ploughing it forward out of the middle.
Travis Cloke tends to start games well and then just go out of them. And tonight he looked good early, but hasn't done a lot since quarter time.
It'd be interesting to follow up the stats on that one, Wolsey, because it rings a bell. There's several big games where he's played well early and just drifted out a little.
Kennedy winning the clearance for Sydney. Hanbury just waiting for the bounce. Heath-Shaw didn't. He went hard at it. Gives to Didak. Quick kick to Jolly. Didak could be dangerous from there. He is an exquisitely skilled player. That's a glorious goal. And that puts it beyond any doubt whatever. Collingwood by 32.
And what a game Heath-Shaw has played. He's had 25 disposals. Bird and Hanbury have had no answers to him whatsoever. He's created this goal once again, and this man loves playing here. He put the Swans to the sword last year, and that is an absolute class finish from Alan Didak.
To talk about work rate, Matty, I've watched Heath-Shaw a lot tonight. He just never stops. His second, third repeat efforts, they're there all the time, covers an enormous amount of ground. Courageous to get back and help out the key defenders, but so very attacking. He's the #1 rebound player out of Collingwood's defence, and he's had to take on a bit more work tonight in the absence of Nick Maxwell.
Jolly negated by Mumford, but still got the ball going his team's way. Bolton didn't have it all his own way there. Bird, Grundy trying to adapt the kick, but Dale Thomas was ready to pounce, and pounce he does to Dane Swan. Goes beyond half forward. I think Brown's chest was a pretty decent target. It's a wayward handball. Melcheski has it covered, or does he? Lunging handball.
He's back. I'll play it downfield against Lee Brown. It'll go to Jared McVeigh downfield.
All right, Steve McBurney's got everyone organised out there. And now Gary Rowan's in the clear. And he's urged on by his teammates to keep on coming. Brings it in and then gets it back out again. A bit of help from Grundy. There's the kick up towards Goods. Now, Jesse White has to really bend down deep now. Here's McGlynn. Good kick back into the middle. There are Swans lining up, and Josh Kennedy will have the opportunity to have the shot for goal.
Really good build-up there from the Swans. It was because Gary Rowan was out to get in the wide open space. It's something Collingwood haven't allowed them all night. Their pressure, they've built a real wall. Their zone is as good as anyone's, Collingwood. And Kennedy, he's been a real find along with McGlynn coming from the Hawks.
So Josh P. Kennedy. A shoot from just outside 50. The distance wasn't a problem. Unfortunately, though, the accuracy was. Sydney, 9 goals, 11, 65. Collingwood, 13 goals, 18. The margin is 31 points. It's been roughly between 20 and 35 points since midway through the second quarter. So there hasn't been a lot of movement from either side, but that will suit Collingwood just fine.
The Collingwood takeaway after the behind. A bit more authority than many of Sydney's. Bolton, though, for the Swans. McVeigh surrounded by black and white, but the troops arrive. Good smothering for the Magpies. Beams, Didak, Brown thumping it forward. A little aimlessly there. Bad bounce, horrible bounce for Matner. Lets in Davis, who's had a horror tonight, and the form still eludes him. Cloak. Difficult collect for side bottom, but Lockyer was there to assist in the jolly direction. Roberts-Thompson has a win. Gives to Rowan. Hanbury. Tough night for him tonight. Bolton, Kirk, Melcheski. Pumps it in. Goods from behind. O'Keefe roving. It fell wide, and the first man there was Brown. Safe result.
Got a bit more Roosie watch here. And he loves his lollies, Roosie. He's not happy. Like Wolsey up here in the box when the Snakes run out. Can get a bit grumpy. There's the throw in. Mike Pike with the tap down into the space. McVeigh trying to get on the end of it. Jack popping up. Off to O'Keefe. And that's very expertly done from Ryan O'Keefe. It's his third.
Ryan O'Keefe, he's dropped a lot of weight in the last 2 or 3 years to improve his engine to go up into the midfield. And he's tried hard all night. Just hasn't had enough players going along with him. Just so many players that haven't contributed. Mike Pike still only the one handball. The youngsters in Hanbury, Smith, Rowan, Jetta, they've really struggled under the weight of the pressure of the Collingwood team.
So the margin back to 25, but the Magpies are safe, and it is going to be 9 in a row in matches against Sydney. The last time the Swans beat them was in their premiership year. They won this match, the equivalent match, by 1 point.
And they play well here, Tim. This will be their 6th win from 8 visits.
Love the finals to be here. Here's Didak. Difficult run for Dawes. Didak just kept coming. Davis, can he do something? Not here. Bevan, Bird, Matner and Grundy. Pike adds to his marking stats, the big Canadian. McVeigh. It's a good delivery. O'Keefe. Kicked 3 goals. He just always bobs up around the sticks. Now Jetta, 14 behind straight. Could it be a 15th? He needs the right bounce.
Now, Matty, when you play, did you have a favourite umpire?
Not really, no.
So did you have an umpire you didn't favour?
To be honest, I hardly took any notice of them. Never felt they cost us a game or won us a game. Really had too many other things to worry about.
Here's Goods.
St Matthew.
Seriously, No, I'm saying you had some decisions you were filthy on, some I got lucky on, but never really spoke about them. Or Hayden Kennedy was a teacher of mine at St Bernard, so I had a relationship with him. But aside from that, that was about it. Matty James, good one to have a bit of fun with and have a laugh.
Here's the throw in. Didak with the clearance. Wellingham. Side bottom, aggressive, maybe too much so. Overruns it, locks it in. Ball up.
In my first game, Wolsey, I told Rowan Sawyers that he was the worst umpire I'd ever seen. In my first game, and he umpired 350 odd games, and he come and saw me after the game and said, "Listen here, son, I wouldn't be going down that path with the umpires." And it was a real lesson that I never really gave him a mouthful too much after that.
He was a good umpire and a good bloke, Rowan Sawyers.
They're always giving you free kicks for diving, Lloydie. That's why you didn't have to say anything.
Two players I've been impressed with, Ben Reid and Tooby. They've stood up all night tonight and have had good years and been real finds for the Collingwood defence.
So he's just getting good experience, Reid, isn't he?
He's really strong. Like Lonergan last night against the Saints stood up really strong in the one-on-one contest, and Ben Reid, he hasn't been beaten in one all night against the stronger Jesse White.
Tyson Goldsack making the spoil and earning the plaudits of his teammates. So a throw in. And Paul Roos's time as coach of Sydney, which is nearing its end, is going to end without him winning one of these games against Collingwood at ANZ Stadium in the last 5 years, and he's a bit frustrated about it all. John Longmire will take the reins as of next year. Not sure whether he moves down to the boundary. Here go the Magpies. Swan, Davis leading hard, takes a mark and kicks intelligently to a one-on-one. The only two inside the 50, but Bevan held Lockyer at bay, and he drew the hold and comes up with a free kick.
Short to McVeigh, very much going through the motions now as we head towards the siren. 43,500 here to witness a pretty solid performance by Collingwood.
Wolsey, at the MCG next Sunday, the Swans take on Richmond. Who would you be tipping right at this moment in that game?
That's a good question, because Richmond, I think it's 3 out of their last 4 they've won, and they're playing with real spirit. I'd give Richmond a chance for sure.
On there, Leon. Thank you. On there, Marty. Move it on.
So Matner. Here's Adam Goods on a bit of a leisurely run up to the wing. Takes the mark. Gets a bit from the crowd. Tries to hook it into the middle. Thomas is ready to pounce. And mates are running for him. They're calling for it, but Thomas wants to go long. The small men wait with great expectations at the back. Side bottom for Thomas, but he cannot take a trick, Leon. I don't know who's more unlikely to kick a goal at the moment, out of Jenner or Davis. Here's Sydney's matches to come against Wolsey's old mob, Richmond. Former Tiger coach.
You remember, Hunter?
Kennedy had it for a moment for the Swans, but he's tied up. Collingwood are going to be within half a game of the leading teams, Geelong and Richmond, and yet it doesn't feel as though they're quite that close to the very top echelon. And they have very winnable games coming up against West Coast and Port Adelaide before they meet St Kilda in round 16. So that's going to be one big game. Here's Cloak, but the last man standing was Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Here's Goods. Gee, a few Swans have had dirty nights. Kennedy just bangs it forward straight to Reid.
He's the one that Matty Lloyd's been impressed with. Me too. He's a nice size, and he's pretty quick. And he's just getting valuable experience, and how good it would be to play alongside Heath Shaw, Harry O'Brien and Nick Maxwell and Presti.
Sweet night for Darren Jolly, coming back to his old stamping ground, and with the Magpies he's going to go away with the points. Again, Davis's kick smothered. Malcheski caught up in the traffic. Davis ball up. The only outcome, surely. No, got other ideas.
No attempt, just holding it in.
Can't take a trick.
The Magpies win by 25 points, and they reach the end of round 13 with 9 wins and a draw. They're outright third on the table. Swans still in the 8, but a little shaky. The dominant performance from Collingwood. They absolutely choked the Swans. It was dominated the inside 50s with 63 to 44. Tackling count 73 to 55. The stats were even, but the far superior team, Collingwood tonight, more skillful players, and the discrepancy was more than a 4-goal win.
Well, Neil Cordy has got Darren Jolly in his sights, as we see Travis Cloak and Ben McGlynn and Daniel Hanbury. And he's caught with the former Swan, the former Demon, and now Pyrucky.
How did it feel, Darren, going up against the Swannies?
Yeah, it was felt good actually. It was exciting. I suppose I was looking forward to it all week, and the most important thing, we wanted to have a win, and that's all I cared about, so it was good.
Very good contest between you and the bloke who replaced you, Shane Mumford.
Yeah, he's a big boy. No, look, he's having a fantastic year, so is Pike, and look, it was just, as I said before, it was good to have a good game and have a win.
Yeah, you've been on both sides of the Collingwood hoodoo up here. I know you can't give anything away, but what is the difference having now going Collingwood and seeing how they seem to always have the wood on it?
I think the way we play, obviously Sydney like to play one-on-one, and obviously we like to open up a bit and take the game on. So
well,
I think that's the major difference that I've found.
Magpies, too good.
Good on you. Well done, Justin.
Thanks, Cords. Now, the Swans, can they hang on to an 8 position in the 8, boys, do you think?
Well, it'll be a bit of a battle for them, Hutto. Look, they're very competitive. Started the season well, then they've struggled a bit. As we said before the game, they haven't beaten anything of any real class at this stage. Can they hang on in the 8? Well, they're going to have to battle that spot. Position 7 or 8 with the likes of Carlton, Hawthorn, North Melbourne, I would think. And North Melbourne's won 6 of its last 9 games. They're going along nicely. Hawthorn have won 6 of 6, so they're in pretty good form. I think it'll be a battle for them, Hutto, but never ever underestimate the Swan spirit.
All right, Collingwood winning here by 25 points at ANZ.